So let's talk a little bit about what Stored specifically does, the types of companies that you work with, and given the fact that it's Black Friday in 2 days and the traditional peak shipping season is now upon us, how you're working with those companies to, I would imagine, navigate what's going to be a deluge of orders and packages to consumers' homes.
Absolutely. So Stored is the pioneer of the cloud supply chain, which is a single platform that connects all the physical aspects of a company's supply chain, their warehousing, freight, fulfillment, and last mile delivery with cloud software so that these brands can easily manage and optimize their supply chain end to end. At Stored, we serve hundreds of customers, both in the business to business category and consumer brands, including e-commerce brands, enterprise retailers, and consumer packaged goods companies such as Home Depot, Advanced Auto Parts, Body Armor, and Dollar General. And ultimately what we're seeing is a massive influx and surge of order volumes as we go into both Black Friday this week all the way through the new year, and an increase in volumes since last year.
So when we talk about that increase in volumes, I mean, we're already seeing capacity crunches. We're seeing supply chain issues across industries. How do you work with companies to help them manage that in a timely manner?
Absolutely. So what Stored enables them to do with our network across the US of over 500 warehouses, over 30,000 carriers and more is get Amazon level logistics with increased visibility that is very difficult for one of these brands to handle on their own, given the infrastructure costs, the volumes and more. And so at Stored, we're projecting a 465% increase in November to December order volume year over year. And we are a fast growing company. So if we normalize that, that's somewhere 20 to 35% per customer. And with an average brand, you're picking which warehouse you're going to ship each and every order out of, and you're planning that months and months and years in advance. And with Stored, we enable those brands to use data in our platform to agilely position that inventory where it needs to be on demand and flexibly so that they can get their products closer to their consumers and unlock capacity they didn't have prior in their supply chains.
We've been having these conversations for weeks. Where the bottlenecks are within supply chains. We're hearing about chassis shortages. We're hearing about an overabundance of empty containers that can't make their way out of ports. We're hearing about all the ships that are piling up off the coast of, for example, LA and Long Beach. Given the fact that you're connecting different links in the supply chain, where are you seeing those pain points, and are they starting to ease at all?
Great question. So it's really across the board. It starts at the port. We have over 93 ships at sea across the West Coast right now. It goes through the trucking providers where there's not enough truck driver capacity to get each of those containers off those ships. There's over 20,000 containers on each of those ships, which each takes a truck driver. But then ultimately getting them into the warehouse. There is dwindling warehouse capacity, especially on the coasts right now. Around the Los Angeles port, for example, has been extremely challenging. And so what we've seen at Stored is that markets like Las Vegas, Reno, Salt Lake City, and surrounding markets are filling up rapidly, and the leases and the warehouse space is going away quickly. And so brands can mitigate a lot of these warehouse challenges, first on the space by going outside of the key ports to these other markets where they get more space but higher trucking costs to get the products there. But then it's labor in the facilities. And so what companies like Stored have been focusing on is increasing the pay in the facilities, offering competitive benefits, but ultimately making the warehouse jobs less grueling and more attractive through implementing automation and different technologies such as locus robotics or picking systems that help reduce the repetitive tasks and the high labor intensive tasks in these warehouses to retain labor more effectively as well.